Hi, welcome to the GunWriterTV. I'm Lee Williams, and along with my co-host Mike Young.
Good to see it.
I gotta say, if the gun industry had royalty, our guest today, Bob Serva, would be a crown prince.
Thanks.
And we really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Bob, you are, of course, the owner of Fusion Firearms, which
Yes.
is now based in Southwest Florida. You're in
Yes.
Venice.
Yep, down south.
But this isn't exactly your first time with guns, is it?
No, I've had quite experience with guns. I've been in the industry as a dealer or, in manufacturing for going on 30 years now. So
And
I've had an FFL since I was
old enough?
21.
Bob is a very modest man, but you were also the former owner of Dan Wesson Arms, which I think makes
Yes.
incredible revolvers.
At one point I owned Dan Wesson and I owned Wilde also.
And you're the guy that little firm called Smith & Wesson came to when they wanted to start making 1911s, aren't you?
Yeah, I've worked with several larger companies. One was Smith, one was another company in the Philippines, several others, smaller groups that have wanted development work in their 1911s, and I've worked with them on a lot of their products.
I like the way you got into gunsmithing. You didn't go to just a school. You actually became a tool and die maker.
Yeah,
which
yes,
is
exactly.
incredible.
Well, one of the things, and this is really old history, but one of the things I did, I always had a passion for firearms. I mean, even when I was real little, I grew up on my uncle's farm, shooting groundhogs and working on 22s. My first gunsmithing project was probably around the age of 14. It was a 6.5 Jap I converted to go shoot groundhogs with.
Oh, great round.
So, yeah,
Great round.
Yeah, it was just fun. And so from that, it was just a passion, something I always wanted to do. So at that time, I was living in New Jersey. And I know everybody thinks, New Jersey's kind of almost like a communist state, but
People's Democratic Republic thereof.
exactly. But in New Jersey at that time, it was definitely different times. Okay,
Sure.
It was a time where actually when I was in high school, one of my shop teachers, I was kind of a shop junkie. I just hung out in the shop. Every free period I had, I would be in the shop. And there was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Kish who ran the shop. He kind of took a liking to me, and he started allowing me to bring guns into school.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And
those were the days.
exactly. And it'd be nothing to see Bob walking down the aisles with his rifle case going to school. So he was an old flintlock person, so all he wanted to do was the old muzzleloader types. But he was very traditional. Everything had to be done by hand. There was no buying commercial parts and putting them in the gun. He would buy some lock mechanisms, but this guy was so into it. He'd actually go down, cut a cherry tree down, slab it, dry the wood, bring it in, cut it. That's how deep he got into this. So,
And these are your formative years.
Exactly.
No wonder.
Exactly. Well, and so some of my first projects, I did start with a kit, actually. Like Thompson Center used to have the Hawking kits.
Remember those.
So at my age, you're 16 years old, 15 years old, you're not going to be cutting down a tree and doing all
Right.
that. So I said, I'm going to start with a kit. He said, sure, bring it in. So I bring the kit in and I start putting it together. And he goes, what are you doing? You're using screws. I said, well, yeah, it says here in the instructions, screw it together. He goes, no. He goes, you don't use screws in my class. He says, you're only allowed to use one screw. That's the lock screw. I said, oh, okay. Well, how am I supposed to put this together? He says, you're going to hand file fit everything in. All the eyelets, you're going to hand file, draw file the barrel, you're going to hand file the rib on the bottom. And then we're going to sweat each side and German silver solder everything.
Oh.
So, and he would not let me bring the guns in and work on them unless I did it exactly the way he told me. So again, that was some of the, I guess if you want to call it pre-training I had to where...
That's hellacious training.
Well, yeah, and you kind of learned how they did it years and years ago. You also learned to develop hand skills,
Sure.
and which is very much lacking in pretty much every industry if you look at it today.
Especially the gun industry now.
Yes.
It's all CNC.
Exactly. Everything's cookie cutter anymore, and most companies, they do that. They pride themselves on taking out the handwork in their products so that
cheaper.
And the bean counters can say they made more of a profit.
Yeah.
So our company's kind of the opposite way. We still believe in that handwork. We still believe in those traditions of building things a certain way. And it shows in our firearms. You'll notice, like when you shot someone the other day, you seen the nice hand dehorning and the radius dehorning. You can't put that on in a machine.
I gotta say, the finest 1911 I've ever fired.
Oh, God! Oh, kidney shot.
and I fired all of them.
Well, appreciate it.
Browns and bears and you name it. Have not fired a bunker yet, and definitely out of every gun I've ever fired, that was the best trigger.
Oh,
I mean, it gives a new definition to crisp.
Thanks.
Just
Appreciate it.
and you're putting your hands on every single gun you make,
Yes,
including
I do.
this new production line. And I hate to call it a production handgun because you're well known for your custom stuff, but you've got a new line out of production guns.
Our Premier series, and we call it production or stock models. We call it a stock model because we've had so many customers, and you'll probably know that they come in, they're impulsive, they got to have something right now, and because we're custom builders, we've always, it takes 4, 6, sometimes 8 months to get your gun finished. It really depends on the configuration the
Sure.
custom wants. As a custom builder, we work directly with the consumer. It's not like you just pop into the gun shop and a custom pistol pops out.
It's an interview process.
Exactly. We interview the consumer, the customer. We ask him, all types of attributes about himself. How big are your hands? How are your eyes? What are you used to shoot? Are you recoil sensitive? What's your end application? All those things, and then we build a bill of materials from that. And then after we go over the bill of materials with the customer, then we actually start the build process from that. And then we basically fine tune it, because a lot of customers might have a vision in their head for something, but as you guys know, the firearms industry is so good that vision may build a real crappy 1911.
Yeah.
It may be a horrible recipe.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
So you're going to stop that.
Exactly. So most people come to us and say, Bob, I'm looking for a target gun, I'm looking for a carry gun, I'm looking for a retirement piece because I'm retiring from the service, and I want something built specially just for me. We've had guys, Bob, I just got back from Iraq, I just got back from Afghanistan, I want something built special for me, and or anniversaries, and we'll do that, but we custom configure all that. Now with our Premier series, it's more of a stock model. And what we've done with that is for the guys who are impulsive. They don't want to wait the 6 months. They don't want to wait for a custom build. They want something nice. So what we did is look at 5 different models that fit different characteristics. Whether it was a collector's piece or a long slide, whether it was a 5-inch for target, general target practice, or say some carry pistols, which we have our commanders with a carry cut or like a mainspring housing. And then we took standard attributes that everybody seems to really like in our guns, like our fancy top serrations with reveal, our overcoating, our brush polished stainless, the mag wells on certain models, the carry cuts on other models. Then we dress it out with some really high grade hand select Coca-Cola.
Oh, that Coca-Cola, I gotta say, is beautiful wood.
thank you.
I've never
Yeah,
seen anything
gorgeous.
like it. So what you're ending up with, I mean, these are production guns, like Carl Shelby's Mustangs were production cars.
Exactly.
That's how I'm thinking of
Right,
them.
yeah.
But the one thing about them, you can find them in stores right now.
Exactly. Yep. Some of the local shops have them. We are picking up more strategic dealers all over. We're trying to keep our line. We have several other new lines coming out. We're trying to keep the lines so that dealers aren't in a total conflict. I mean, we see that so much anymore in the gun industry, where the profitability on most firearms is very minimal.
Right.
So what Fusion is trying to do, and why do I see that? Why do I know that? I used to own a gun shop. I owned a gun shop for years. I ran the counter. I seen the games that were played. I mean, you know for all of them.
Oh yeah.
You've been there.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of guys making money on Glocks.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to bring a product line that, again, the dealer can make some money on. And on top of that, we also are looking at, again, a little differently than most companies now that are run by the bean counters. We're actually looking at, okay, what are the end uses for those products? We look at the end use, then we actually bring it back to a bill of materials, and then try to make the best product for that level of money.
And you actually put your hands now on every single gun that's going out.
Oh yes, definitely.
Which I think is incredible.
Every
Yeah.
gun.
Where are you going to get that? Other than Kimber. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's very few custom builders left. I mean, there's a few small mom and pops.
Yeah, 10, 15 guns a year.
Right. Most of the mid-range builders really no longer build custom, or if they do, you better be ready to walk in there with $5,000 or they don't even want to answer the phone.
Right.
So we take it a little bit differently. Like our Premier Series goes anywhere from around 2,100 up to about 2,600. Our custom guns will go anywhere from about 2,500 up to whatever. I mean, we've built guns $6,000, $7,000 depending on what the person wants put into that product.
That tactical model that I fell in love with?
Yes.
What's MSRP on that?
Retail that'd be right around $3,200.
Oh, that's a great gun.
Yeah.
Great gun. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yep.
Now, your guns are great, but you've also got an incredible line of parts.
Yes. Yep.
Which is helping, the business.
Oh, sure.
You're doing really well.
Well, yeah, the parts business is really our core. Our custom guns, we make limited custom guns. It's really eye candy. We look at the eye candy so that people, the general masses, that look at products and say, boy, I really like that, but I can't afford a $3,000 gun right now.
Right.
But,
But I want a better trigger.
Exactly.
I want a better beaver tail.
Yeah. I want to fix up my Colt. I want to fix up my SIG, whatever. I want to get rid of my plastic mainspring housing. We have all these options for people. So we'll have mainspring housings, magwells, trigger groups, tritium sights. We do produce a lot of the sights ourselves. We also, in this past year, which was real exciting for Fusion, was we brought on LPA, which is the leading sight manufacturer in the world.
Yeah.
To give you kind of a snapshot picture, last year LPA produced over 2.1 million OEM sights for, and that's for big companies like Mossberg and Beretta and places like that. So it's a big player, and it's a big player for us. And we also now are the North American importer and distributor for all the LPA products. So we also supply some of the bigger companies now, like Burnell's and Midway and places like that. Also, the dealer networks that like the LPA sites. We have also started this year with ACMAG, which is another big battleship in our pond now. So ACMAG is again in Italy. Same with LPA. ACMAG has a whole variety of different magazines, 45, ACP, a bunch of different variants in the 1911. They also make Smith & Wesson M&P, they make Taurus, they make Beretta, SIG, they make Para. So there's a whole gamut of different magazines now that we're also offering, and some new ones that will be coming up.
And we can find this
online,
Okay.
FusionFirearms.com. We also, this past year, have started up our
You've got a great website, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And it's very easy to navigate. I often see, especially in the gun industry, people put a lot of time and effort into the product, and there's no way to see it or buy it or look at it. But your site is easy to use.
Yeah, well, that's our window to the world, so we got to make sure that works.
Exactly.
You have some of your firearms right now in area shops.
Yes, we do.
What shops are they in so these people can come out and look at them?
Well, we have them at High Noon right now, and we also have them at Aegis right now.
Yeah, High Noon on Bee Ridge and Aegis up in
Lena Road.
And Lena Road in Bradenton. Very cool. Very cool.
They tend to stand out in the case.
I bet. I bet they do.
Especially surrounded by all the black tactical stuff.
Yeah, totally.
How would you say the state of the 1911 industry is today? How do you describe it?
I describe it as somewhat flooded, to be totally honest with you. I mean, every company...
Not unlike the AR market.
Well, yeah. Not as flooded as the AR market.
Okay. We're not that bad yet.
But pretty bad. The 1911 market has really... because it's such a popular foundation to the pistol, and everybody loves it. I mean, America, through the whole world, we get inquiries from all over, being an international company, and the 1911 is a loved and cherished product all over the world.
It defines freedom for everyone.
It really does, and the 1911 is a lot of things to a lot of different people. If you look at the 1911, it's one of the only pistols that you can actually take from a base model and take it down all these different roads.
Right.
Do you want a collector's piece? Do you want a bullseye gun? Do you want a carry weapon? Do you want a defense weapon? Do you want a long range shooter? Do you want a hunting pistol? All
race
that,
gun, fast.
Race gun, yeah.
Race gun. All those things add up, and funnel down into that same foundation, which there's very, very few pistol platforms out there that you can do that with.
Right.
There's some people that are trying to do it with certain different platforms, and they may succeed in maybe one or two of those avenues, maybe three, but to pull the whole gamut, it's very difficult.
No, I've never seen any pistol with the flexibility of a 1911.
No, and also a cherished piece. People, if they're going to really want something that they cherish, they want it hand built, they want steel. They
Yeah.
don't want plastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's very...
It's an heirloom.
Right,
It's not
exactly.
utilitarian, and it doesn't come in Tupperware.
Exactly.
Even though I love the Glock and the XDs. Now, you are, right now in this area, you are in 2 of our shops, but you're looking for more, both here in Florida and across the country?
Yeah, we're looking for more shops, select shops. Again, like I said, we don't want to pile shops on top of one another.
Right.
You know, we see the same trends with the 1911s and, like you said, the Glocks and M&Ps and everything else. Everybody's fighting amongst each other, trying to sell the same products. Those markets are, you know, when the market was to a point where there were shortages in the market, people could name the price and you could actually do real well. Now that the manufacturing capacities have caught up with the shortages, and I don't see where you're going to see those shortages again. You may see those shortages in the specific models once in a while, but as an overall, you know, across the board where you can't get ammo and you can't even get a pistol.
Thank God we're not going to see those.
Well, yeah.
Well, here's my quandary, Bob. I want a Fusion. I don't have $2,500.
Right.
What can I do?
Well, you got to wait.
Okay, wait for what?
Pack your lunch.
Right,
Start saving up.
Two things. You can save up, you know, and a lot of people, if they have a vision of what they want, and they, you know, I always say, you know, if you got to save the extra 500, you got to save the extra 1,000.
Sure.
If that's really what you want.
But we have some good news
save it.
coming next year.
Exactly. We do have a lower end line coming in.
I hate to call that lower end.
I do
Affordable.
too. Affordable. We're trying. We are working on 7 new models that will be introduced next year. They will all be under $1,000. Some of them will be under $800.
Wow.
Okay. And again, now these will have some imported parts. These
Okay.
will have some MIM, and like our custom-made guns. There's no MIM in our custom-made guns.
Right.
Okay. It's just that's what the customer wants and desires at that level. You can't produce a gun at $650, $700 without MIM in it these days.
Right,
You can't.
right.
But there's a difference between very low-end MIM and halfway decent MIM. There's MIM that's made in surgical companies that is actually really good. You know, people brand something just because a certain company has their parts made in India and they had a bigger failure rate. Well, you could have the same parts made in Michigan at a different place and have a lower failure rate, a much lower failure rate.
Right.
It's just the process. A lot of what you do is process. So what we've done is we've looked again, instead of just looking at pure cost and what can we make off these models, we've actually taken it a step further and said, okay, what are the end applications for these products? Start there. And then we backed it down into cost, and
Right.
and that
Well,
way.
if you produce a Fusion under $800, I think they're going to beat a path to your door.
Yeah, we've had nothing but a stampede of dealers wanting the product. So we're just, and they haven't even seen one yet because we're still in prototyping. But just the vision, when you see the vision and what's being offered, and then the upgrades in quality and the service from a real 1911 company.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the lower end products that you find out there today, the companies that service those products in the States and that are not 1911 companies.
No.
You know, they're just, they're gun companies, or they're selling surplus or whatever, and it's just kind of another attribute of what they do. We are a 1911 company. Okay, so again, the way we can do the service on the pistols, also upgrades on the pistols, everything else. Plus, again, we started our websites. We now have our YouTube channel going. We have an Instagram account going. We have 3 different Facebook accounts going.
Oh.
We have the Fusion Firearms Facebook. We have the
And we will show links to all.
great. Yeah, with 1911 Bob's Bench.
I love Bob's Bench.
Yeah.
I read it every time.
Well, we just started that because we ran out of room.
It's a great idea.
And we're running out of time. I got to say, like you have relationships with your customers,
Yes.
we have relationships with our guests. So think of this as an ongoing thing. You
No,
have
it'd be
any
great.
new models or anything that comes out, please give us a
Yeah,
call.
no, definitely.
Thanks for stopping
Thank you.
by.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate it. God
Appreciate
bless. Long live the Republic, and keep your powder dry.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.